Nettle tea. So we're making nettle tea today. Perhaps you found this because of our Nettle for Allergies post or some of our other nettle recipes. We love nettle. We harvest for it here in the Giant Sequoia National Monument, where we are free to harvest and forage for plants. And so your first step is your foraging. Now you might be buying nettle online dried to try it out, and that's great. But I really encourage you to look around you and find the patches of nettle. There's nettle all over the United States and all over the world. It's trying to take over. Well, good for us because we can go out and easily find it. Find it at the coast, find it along a river, find it near a high subalpine lake. Nettle is wonderful and it's everywhere. Nettle helps with anemia, edema, diabetes, allergies, congestion. It's a wonderful plant and we should have more of it in our lives. Since our teas on this website are so strong, it's important for me to mention a contraindication for nettle. In James Duke's Handbook of Medicinal Herbs, he cautions against using too much nettle if you have edema that's related to your heart or to your kidneys. And so edema is swelling, and a good example of this is swelling from congestive heart failure. And so if you have like that swelling in your ankles and your feet from congestive heart failure, then you probably need to back off the nettle a little bit. And it's an important point because nettle is used for edema, and so you need to know the cause of your edema before you consume too much of it. You will set out on your adventure and you will harvest nettle. You will bring it home and you will turn it into tea. Now, one trick I like to use actually is if I'm harvesting some big stems of nettle, I'll use a lot of the leaves in a soup and then use like the extra leafy stems, or as I get tired of removing the leaves from the stems, I use that in the tea. And so very often I'm making both at the same time, tea and soup. So leaves into the soup and the stems and such into the tea. If it's an immature nettle plant that hasn't gotten very big and its stems are not really woody or anything, you can use them in both, and you can use the immature stems in your soup, you can use it in your tea. It just doesn't really matter that much. If you found this recipe for nettle for allergies, then definitely check out that video because we make a very, very strong infusion for our nettle for allergies tea. We basically stuff as much nettle in the water as we can. And so it's a very, very strong tea. Otherwise, if you're just starting out and want to start small, you might use a few sprigs in a couple of cups of water. This tea will not have a strong flavor, though nettle can be a little grassy. If the tea is not very strong, you can sweeten it with a honey that will impart a little bit of flavor and make it very drinkable. If you're using our really strong version for allergies or some sort of therapeutic use, you're probably going to want to cut it with another flavor. I recommend lemonade or orange juice, or maybe making a ginger base and maybe even steeping it with ginger. And these will help cover up that grassy flavor. And so enjoy your adventure foraging, enjoy your tea, and find more recipes for nettle, information about herbs and spices and other fun things on the Fresh Bites Daily website.